Imagine reaching into an old coin jar, pulling out a dusty Lincoln penny, and discovering that it could be worth more money than most people earn in a lifetime. Not $1,000. Not $100,000. But as much as $2.4 million under extraordinary circumstances. It sounds impossible. It sounds like the kind of story people tell at coin shows and flea markets. Yet stories of rare Lincoln pennies turning ordinary people into unexpected winners have fascinated collectors for decades. Right now, somewhere in America, millions of pennies are sitting in drawers, piggy banks, coffee cans, old toolboxes, and forgotten jars. Most people never look at them twice. They spend them without a second thought. But experienced collectors know a secret. Sometimes the smallest coin can hide the biggest surprise. Today we are taking a close look at the 1986 D Lincoln penny, a coin that many people overlook. At first glance, it appears completely ordinary. It was produced in enormous numbers at the Denver Mint.
Millions upon millions en terre circulation.
Most are worth only a cent. But among those countless coins, a tiny number possess characteristics that can make collectors stop in their tracks. Before we reveal what makes certain examples so valuable, imagine the journey of this coin. In 1986, America was changing. Families were filling up station wagons, watching television shows that have now become classics, and carrying pockets full of loose change. The Denver Mint was working around the clock producing pennies for circulation. Day after day, coin presses stamped Lincoln's image onto blank metal planchets. Workers had no idea that decades later, collectors would carefully examine these same coins under magnification, searching for rare varieties, unusual errors, and exceptional conditions. What was once common pocket change would become the focus of treasure hunts across the country. Now here's where the story becomes interesting. Most people assume age alone creates value. That's not true. A coin can be old and still be worth very little. What truly drives value is rarity, condition, demand, and uniqueness. That means a 1986 D penny found in the right condition or with the right characteristics can attract serious attention from collectors. Start by looking at the date. You should see 1986 on the front of the coin beneath Abraham Lincoln's portrait. Next, look directly below the date. There should be a small D mint mark. The D indicates the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. If your coin has the correct date and mint mark, don't stop there. This is where most people make a mistake. They see the date, confirm the mint mark, and assume they're done. Experienced collectors know the real search is only beginning. Take a close look at the coin's overall condition. Does Lincoln's hair show sharp detail? Think about it. Millions of these pennies were handled every day. They rattled through cash registers, bounced around pockets, and scraped against other coins. Every year, fewer pristine examples survived. That's why collectors pay close attention to condition. Now let's add another layer to the mystery. Some 1986 D pennies display striking characteristics that separate them from ordinary examples. Collectors often search for doubling in letters and numbers. They inspect Lincoln's portrait for unusual details. They study the mint mark area. Under magnification, tiny differences can sometimes reveal varieties that attract significant interest. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table late at night. A small lamp illuminates a handful of pennies. Most look ordinary. Then suddenly one coin appears different. A letter seems doubled. A design element looks unusual. Your heartbeat increases. That moment of discovery is what keeps collectors searching year after year. But the excitement doesn't end there. Another factor that can elevate value is the presence of mint errors. During production, coins occasionally encounter unexpected events. Misalignments, striking abnormalities, and other unusual occurrences can create pieces that stand apart from the rest. These errors often become highly desirable because they tell a story. They represent a moment when the minting process didn't proceed exactly as planned. Collectors love these stories because every error coin is unique. No two are exactly alike. Now imagine finding a 1986 D penny with an unusual feature and realizing that what appeared to be a common coin might actually deserve professional examination. That possibility is enough to send many collectors rushing for magnifying glasses and reference books. Here's another important clue. Pay attention to the color of the coin. Lincoln cents from this era can appear red, red-brown, or brown. Brilliant red examples that remain virtually untouched are often especially desirable. The vibrant original color indicates limited exposure to environmental factors that can darken copper surfaces over time. When grading services evaluate coins, even tiny differences in preservation can create massive differences in value. A coin graded near perfection may sell for dramatically more than one with only slight wear. That's why collectors become obsessed with details most people never notice. A small scratch, a tiny mark, a faint discoloration. These seemingly insignificant factors can influence value in ways that surprise newcomers. Now imagine a collector examining thousands of pennies over many years. Most reveal nothing unusual. Then one day, a remarkable specimen appears. The details are razor sharp. The surfaces glow with original brilliance. Every element looks exceptional. That discovery can transform an ordinary day into an unforgettable one. This is the dream that drives coin collecting. The possibility that hidden among common change is something extraordinary. The possibility that a coin overlooked by everyone else could become a centerpiece of a collection. The possibility that a single penny could attract national attention. And that's why stories involving million-dollar valuations capture the imagination of collectors everywhere. Even though only the rarest and most extraordinary coins ever reach such heights, the possibility inspires countless searchers across America. Take a moment to think about how many pennies pass through people's hands every year. Most are ignored. Most are spent immediately. Yet every so often, someone decides to take a closer look. That decision changes everything. One collector finds a rare variety. Another discovers an important error. Someone else uncovers a remarkably preserved coin hidden away for decades. These discoveries continue to happen because people remain curious enough to examine what others overlook. As you search through your own pennies, remember to move slowly. Check the date carefully. Confirm the demint mark. Examine the lettering. Study the surfaces. Look for unusual features. Inspect the condition under good lighting. Compare what you find with trusted references and professional grading standards. The more knowledge you gain, the better your chances of recognizing something special. And perhaps most importantly, enjoy the hunt itself. Coin collecting isn't only about money. It's about history. It's about discovery. It's about holding a small piece of the past and wondering where it has traveled over the decades. Every coin has a story. Every mark tells part of that story. Some stories end with a penny worth a few cents. Others end with a coin worth thousands. And in the rarest cases, collectors dream of finding examples associated with values measured in $1 million. That's what makes the search so exciting. The next time you receive change from a store, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look. Open that old coin jar. Check the forgotten drawer in the kitchen. Search the box sitting untouched in the garage. The coin everyone else ignores might be the very one you've been hoping to find. Because history has shown that extraordinary discoveries often come from the most ordinary places. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine reaching into a forgotten drawer, pulling out a handful of old pennies, and discovering that one tiny coin could be worth as much as a luxury mansion. It sounds impossible. It sounds like the kind of story people share online and never believe. But what if a simple 1988 Lincoln penny with no mint mark was hiding among your spare change right now? What if a coin that most people would spend without a second thought could potentially change a life forever? Today, we are diving into one of the most fascinating stories in modern coin collecting, a story filled with mystery, hidden details, collector obsession, and the possibility of a coin worth extraordinary money. The 1988 Lincoln penny was produced in massive numbers. Hundreds of millions entered circulation. Most are only worth a cent. People carried them in their pockets, tossed them into jars, and forgot about them. Yet among those countless coins, a small number became the focus of intense attention from collectors. These pennies looked ordinary at first glance. They carried the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Nothing seemed unusual. But sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight. The year was 1988. America was approaching the end of a decade marked by major changes. The United States Mint was producing enormous quantities of coins to meet demand. Day after day, presses struck pennies by the millions. Workers performed their tasks. Machines operated relentlessly. Everything appeared routine. But somewhere during that process, something unusual happened. For decades, collectors have searched for minting mistakes and rare varieties. They know that tiny differences can create enormous value. A single detail invisible to most people can turn an ordinary coin into a legendary discovery. That's exactly why the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny became such an intriguing subject. Before we go further, let's talk about what no-mint mark means. A 1988 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. During that era, Philadelphia pennies generally did not carry a mint mark. So simply finding a 1988 penny without a mint mark does not automatically make it valuable. Millions were made. The real secret lies in specific varieties and unusual characteristics that separate common coins from the ones collectors dream about finding. Now imagine a collector sitting at a table under a bright lamp. He slowly examines rolls of pennies one by one. Hundreds pass through his hands. Nothing special. Then suddenly, one coin catches his attention. Something about the date looks different. Something about the design doesn't seem quite right. His heart starts racing. He grabs a magnifying glass. What he sees could be the beginning of an incredible discovery. This is where the story becomes truly fascinating. Among 1988 Lincoln cents, experts discovered a rare variety involving the design details around the date. The difference is extremely subtle. To the average person, it might look exactly like every other penny. But experienced collectors know where to look. They understand that certain die varieties can command significant premiums because they are scarce and highly sought after. If you want to identify a potentially valuable 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, start by examining the date carefully. Use a strong magnifying glass or coin microscope. Pay close attention to the shape of the numbers, especially the final digit. Look for unusual characteristics that differ from standard examples. Serious collectors often compare suspected varieties against verified reference images because the differences can be very small. But that's not all. Condition plays a massive role in value. Two pennies may be identical in variety, yet one could be worth dramatically more because it survived in exceptional condition. Most 1988 pennies circulated for years. They picked up scratches, wear, stains, and damage. High-grade examples are much harder to find. Picture a penny that somehow escaped heavy circulation. Maybe it was stored away shortly after leaving the mint. Maybe it sat untouched in a collection for decades. Its surfaces remain sharp. The details are crisp. The original mint luster still shines. Coins like that attract serious attention when they appear on the market. Now here's something that keeps collectors searching year after year. Every valuable coin discovery starts with someone looking where others don't. It starts with curiosity.
A coinear.
A family inheritance. An old coffee can in the garage. A forgotten collection purchased at a yard sale. Time and again, remarkable coins have surfaced in places nobody expected. Think about that for a moment. Millions of people handle pennies every day without examining them. They assume all pennies are the same. They overlook details. They ignore dates. Meanwhile, dedicated collectors know that history sometimes hides in the smallest objects. As the years passed, stories of rare Lincoln cents spread throughout the collecting community. Auction records captured attention. News stories fueled excitement. Collectors became more determined than ever to inspect their coins. The possibility of finding a hidden treasure was simply too tempting to ignore. And that's exactly what makes the 1988 penny story so compelling. The coin itself isn't made of gold. It isn't covered in diamonds. It doesn't look dramatically different from any other cent. Yet the right combination of rarity, collector demand, condition, and variety can create astonishing value. Let's talk about identification again because this is the most important part. First, confirm the date is 1988. Second, check that there is no mint mark beneath the date. Remember, Philadelphia issues normally lacked a mint mark during that period. Third, use magnification to inspect the date and surrounding design details. Look for unusual features associated with recognized varieties. Fourth, examine the coin's overall condition. Sharp details, minimal wear, and strong original surfaces can significantly increase value. Fifth, compare your coin with certified examples whenever possible. Professional grading services and reputable coin references can help verify authenticity. Many people make the mistake of assuming every old penny is valuable. That's not true. Most 1988 pennies remain common. The challenge is finding the exceptions. The reward comes from knowledge, patience, and careful observation. Imagine opening a box that belonged to a relative. Inside are hundreds of old coins collected over decades. At first glance, they seem ordinary. But as you sort through them, one penny stands out. You notice something unusual. You look closer. Suddenly, you're not just holding a penny. You're holding a mystery. That feeling is what drives collectors. It's the thrill of discovery. It's the possibility that history has placed something extraordinary directly into your hands. Over the years, collectors have spent countless hours searching through bankrolls, estate collections, flea markets, and pocket change. Most searches end without a major discovery. But occasionally, someone finds the coin everyone else missed. Those stories inspire the next search. They inspire the next collector to keep looking. They inspire ordinary people to check the pennies sitting in jars, drawers, and containers throughout their homes. And here's an important reminder. Claims about coins being worth millions should always be approached carefully. Actual values depend on rarity, authentication, market demand, and condition. However, the excitement surrounding rare varieties continues to capture the imagination of collectors everywhere because exceptional coins have achieved remarkable prices in the marketplace. Just imagine what it would feel like to learn that a coin you've owned for years is worth far more than you ever imagined. Imagine showing it to an expert and hearing that you've found something truly special. Imagine realizing that a tiny piece of copper has become a life-changing discovery. For many collectors, that dream is what keeps the hobby alive. The hunt never ends. The next valuable coin could appear tomorrow. It could come from a bankroll. It could come from an estate sale. It could come from a forgotten collection. Or it could already be sitting quietly among coins you own today. That's why experienced collectors never stop checking dates. They never stop studying varieties. They never stop learning. Because history has proven again and again that extraordinary discoveries often come from the most ordinary places. The 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny reminds us that treasures don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they hide behind familiar appearances. Sometimes they blend into the crowd. Sometimes they wait decades before someone notices what makes them different. And perhaps that's the most inspiring part of this story. A simple 1-cent coin can teach us the value of paying attention. It can remind us that opportunities often exist where nobody expects them. It can show us that patience, knowledge, and persistence can reveal hidden rewards. So the next time you receive change at a store, don't ignore those pennies. Look at them carefully. Check the dates. Study the details. Learn the varieties. Search with curiosity and determination. Because somewhere out there, a rare coin may still be waiting to be discovered. Collectors across America continue searching for valuable Lincoln cents because they know remarkable finds are still possible. They know that one coin can transform an ordinary day into an unforgettable moment. They know that a discovery worth hundreds of thousands, or even talked about in terms of $1 million, begins with a simple decision to look closely. And they know that stories of $1 million coin discoveries continue to inspire generations of treasure hunters. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million.